How is all doing? I'm going to talk about a bunch of Atari 2600 games and 7800 games, and I'm going to tell you what I think about these games, and if we, if I'm going to tell you if they're worth getting or if they're shy. So I'm going to start off with this one, Combat. For the Atari 2600. It's a two-player game. You can fight in tanks or helicopters, and it has a lot of variety. Uh, it's a great game. It came out in 1978, and it's awesome. And um, it is a two-player game. But you can still have fun with the game. But really, it's a two-player game. You fight in tanks or helicopters, and it's awesome. And it's one of the more common games on the Atari 2600. So if you were to go to if you're gonna buy an Atari 2600 from eBay, chances are you're gonna get combat included with it, because it's so common, and it's very cheap as well, So combat is a great game, but it's two player only, um, but still an awesome game. And I would recommend getting it if you're gonna get an Atari 2600. But keep in mind it's a two player game only, but it has a lot of variation. You can play in tanks or airplanes, which is pretty cool. So combat, there's two different versions. Really, there's the one that has a picture like this, and the other version just has combat and red lettering and an Atari logo. So combat, yeah, awesome, get it. Um, if we was to give combat a score out of 10, we'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's still a great game, just that it's two player only. So if you don't have a second player, it's kind of pointless, but it's still a great game, and I would recommend it. Combat. But onto a game that I wouldn't recommend: Space Shuttle, a journey into space, made by Activision. Okay, now this is a space shuttle simulator game, right? That's what the game looks like, right? You're meant to be sitting in the cockpit of a space shuttle, looking out the windows, flying into space, right? And the whole thing is about docking with a space station and then landing back down on the planet. It's just I don't like it, and I wouldn't recommend it. It came out in 1983. It's boring and it's just pointless in my opinion. I just don't like it. Activision makes some of the best games for the Atari 2600, but Space Shuttle, A Journey into Space, I just can't recommend it. It's boring and just terrible. So for Space Shuttle, A Journey into Space, because it's so boring and it's a Space Shuttle simulator game, it's just not fun. So I'll give it a 2 out of 10. And I wouldn't recommend it. That's just my personal opinion. On to the worst game ever made, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. This game single-handedly, well, I wasn't, but E.T. is one of the worst games ever made, and still to this day, I don't understand what the fuck is going on in this game. You play as E.T., right, and I assume you're trying to phone home. But you fall down pits, you get out, you fall back down the same pit again. There's dots, you pick them up, and there's a fella following around in trench coat. Just makes no fucking sense, and it's just a shame, Um, um, so it came out 1982, and the Atari were so sure that this game would sell that they made millions of cartridges. They made more cartridges of this game than actual consoles. They were that confident that it'd sell. It did sell, but all them cartridges were fucked back to Atari demanding refunds. And because Atari made so many cartridges, they didn't have a big enough warehouse to store them on. So they dumped them in a big fucking landfill in Mexico and covered them all up. So that really fucked Atari and really put the last nail in their coffin. Atari pioneered video games, but they also destroyed it as well. And E.T. is one of the worst games ever made, if not the worst. And still to this day, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. the title screen is pretty cool. You see E.T.'s face and the music and all, but everything else after that, it's just a confusing mess. So yeah, I mean, it's just terrible, you know. We'll give it a 0 out of 10. I mean, it's just terrible. E.T. It's just terrible, you know. So don't get ET. But the thing is, ET is so common that if you were gonna get an Atari 2600 out of eBay, you'd get Combat, and you'd probably get ET along with it, because I did, you know. Um, we have three Atari 2600s. I have the Woody, the 6-switch Woody. I have the Darth Vader model, and I have the Atari 2600 Junior. And each time I got a copy of Combat and ET. Now I wasn't looking for ET, but it came with it anyway. You know, I mean, there's that many cartridges of ET out there. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. On to the next game. This is an Atari 7800 game, Fatal Run. Now this is on the 2600 as well, but the 7800 version has better graphics and sound. This is an awesome game. You drive around shooting other cars, and you have to fucking deliver medicine to civilians. So it's actually a story based game. It's not just a racing game, and you can get upgrades for your car, more fuel, more armor, more bullets. So it's an awesome game, and the 7800 version is the best version of it. You know. So yeah, I mean, now the great thing about the Atari 7800 is that it's backwards compatible with Atari 2600 games. So if you have the choice, get the 7800 version of Fatal Run. It's awesome. And I would give it an 8 out of 10. Like stuff. On to the next game. Indy 500, right? Now, this is a 2-player game only, but there's levels where you can drive around the track in 60 seconds, and you can put in as many laps as you can. It's a top-down racing game, and this uses the driving controller. So be wary of that. You know, you have to have driving controllers. And I believe that this is the only game that uses the driving controllers. You know, I don't think there's any other game, but it's still a pretty good game. It's just mainly a 2-player game. So yeah, it's a good game. I enjoy it. You know, just for the time trials alone. You know, you can drive a normal road surface or ice and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and I like this game. So we'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's just mainly a 2-player game. Right, on to the next game. Pole Position 2 for the 7800. Now this is awesome. It's way better than the first Pole Position, and on the 7800 it's fucking arcade perfect. So yeah, I mean, would recommend getting Pole Position 2. Just what, 4 or 5 tracks, and it's just awesome, you know, in my opinion. And this came out in 1988 by Namco, and it's an awesome game. And if you are gonna get a 7800, would highly recommend getting Pole Position 2. Yeah, so it's a great game in my opinion. On to another game for the 7800, Ball Blazer, made by LucasArts, you know. This came out in 1985. It's like football, except it's with these hovercraft-like things, right, on a chessboard. It's pretty cool. It's all about getting as many goals within the time limit. So yeah, it's like it's pretty cool. It's something different than Star Wars. So yeah, for that reason alone, it's interesting, and it's a good game. And if you are gonna get a 7800, Ball Blazer is a great game in my opinion. You know, it's unique. You know, so yeah, I mean, we'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's a great game in my opinion. On to a game that I don't like that much, Karate for the 7800. Came out in 1988. It's like a side-scrolling beat-em-up game like Kung Fu Master or Double Dragon, just not as good in my opinion. But the main problem with this game is the controls. So that's it for now. There's a handful of games. I have loads more that I'll cover at different stage. So thanks for watching if you're watching, and we'll see you later. Take care.